Have you ever noticed how sometimes you show up feeling confident and grounded and on point, and other times, well, it's just not the same. And it doesn't even matter how much you prepare, right? This is because confidence is not a mindset problem. As a matter of fact, it depends on your nervous system. And in today's episode, I want to teach you how to train your nervous system to access confidence on demand, whether you're stepping on a stage, getting on a sales call, recording a podcast, or walking into a high stakes meeting. I call it my performance state protocol, PSP for short. And if you've heard me talk about a pre speaking routine, well, this is one and the same. And once you understand PSP, you'll stop hoping for confidence to show up and you will start training your nervous system. Welcome to Be in Demand. This is the podcast all about how to speak with confidence and leverage speaking opportunities as your best form of marketing to get that next big opportunity or sign on that new client. And speaking with confidence will never go out of style. Most people think that confidence comes from preparation, experience, and thinking positively. And while those things are actually wonderful and they do matter, they don't actually create confidence in the moment. Because you can be prepared and you can have a lot of experience and you can know your material inside and out, and you can still freeze. That's because when it comes time to speak, whether it's a stage, it's a sales call, it's a job interview, or it's the boardroom, your nervous system takes over. And your nervous system is always asking one simple question: am I safe or am I under threat? And when speaking is involved, especially if you're feeling judged or you're being evaluated, your body interprets it as a threat. And when that happens, logic goes offline. Let me ask you something. If you look back on a moment where I wish I had done X, Y, and Z because you felt under pressure, because you felt threatened, you felt scared, what's happening is there's a part of the brain that's interpreting the situation as a threat. And blood flow to the prefrontal cortex, which is where you make your executive decisions, actually decreases. So that's why under high stress situations, logic goes down. And that's when we basically do stupid things. We do things that later on we feel like, I wish I hadn't done that. And speaking is one of those things that's going to trigger this. A lot of my clients actually are afraid of speaking. That's why they come to me, because they know that they need to learn this skill of communicating with confidence because it's great for their personal brand. It's great for their business. It's great for marketing. They're getting asked to speak, but speaking is so much more. If you are communicating with another human being, you are speaking, you are communicating. So that can be a sales call, a podcast interview. It can be a leadership meeting, presenting to your board, presenting to your department, answering a question. So all of these moments have the potential to trigger your nervous system. And if your nervous system isn't trained for these events, it will default to fight, flight, or freeze. That's biology. There is nothing wrong with you. That is just what it's like to be a human being. So this is exactly what the pre-speaking routine is. And it's something that I developed years ago because it was something that I noticed in myself. And so now, today, I have been calling it the Performance State Protocol, PSP for short, because peak performance shouldn't be random. And confidence shouldn't depend on how you feel that day either. So the PSP is really simple and it's really powerful. And you can use it in so many different areas of your life, not just when you're speaking. I personally use it before I'm going to get on a sales call, before I'm going to write content, before I record my podcast. So it's based on three things: music, movement, and mental rehearsal. And when you use all three of these together, you create peak performance on demand. So let me explain why this works and the science behind it, because I want you to understand what you were doing and not just taking my word for it. What we're really talking about here is nervous system regulation or state conditioning. Your confidence, especially when you're speaking, you're presenting, you're under any sort of pressure. This is your automatic nervous system that is working. This is the part of your nervous system that is responsible for automatic responses, hence the name automatic nervous system, like your heart rate, your breathing, muscle tension, your stress response. And when your nervous system perceives a threat, like being judged, evaluated, or put on the spot, it can shift you into that fight, flight, or freeze. And no amount of positive thinking can ever override that. Oh my God, I have stories of when I first started speaking and somebody putting me on the spot this one particular time that I'm thinking of. And my physiology, like I started to laugh and I couldn't stop laughing because they'd put me on the spot to do a presentation. I didn't have PSP back then. Now, the reason why PSP works is because it uses state-dependent conditioning, a well-established concept in performance psychology. State-dependent conditioning, let me say that 2 times fast. State-dependent conditioning means that when a specific stimulus is repeatedly paired with a specific physiological and emotional state, the nervous system will marry the two. It will associate the two together. And over time, that stimulus alone can recreate a state. Think of Pavlov's dog, the experiment, where the experimenter rang a bell, fed the dog. The dog ate, rang the bell, fed the dog, rang the bell, and then all of a sudden there's no food. What happened? The dog started salivating because he was expecting the food. He had associated the bell with food. PSP is exactly the same thing. So in my particular situation where I'm talking about movement, music, and mental rehearsal, the music acts as an auditory anchor, and the movement acts like your kinesthetic anchor. And you put the two together and you're mentally rehearsing an event that engages the brain's motor imagery and motor network. And I know that that's a whole lot to say, but when these three are combined consistently, the response becomes faster and more reliable. And the reason why I pick music actually came from my fitness days. This is when I noticed it. I used to teach fitness classes after working at the hospital, after working a long day, after commuting back home. And I would put the music on even though I was exhausted and my body knew exactly what to do. It needed a whole lot of adrenaline. It needed a whole lot of energy. Music with an uplifting tempo has been shown to increase dopamine levels, which is also going to increase your motivation, your focus, and your readiness. So the movement increases the blood flow, oxygenation, and it activates large muscle groups, which signals safety to the nervous system. So in other words, movement tells your body, I'm not trapped and I'm in control. But mental rehearsal is that third portion. And it's also the part that's typically missing. Because most people think like, oh, I'll just listen to some upbeat music and I'll get all pumped up. But you're forgetting to think about the event that is just about to happen. That's the mental rehearsal part. The brain does not fully distinguish between a real experience and an imagination. And that's why mental rehearsal is used by elite athletes and performers all the time. When you mentally rehearse while your body is in this activated state, you're training your nervous system to recognize that state as something very familiar. So this is why I say you could have confidence on demand as long as you teach your nervous system. So you're teaching your nervous system that when you hear the music and you're moving your body and you're focusing on the event that's about to happen, like all those three things, that is like the perfect storm. So a confident speaker isn't just calmer than everybody else. They're just better trained. And that's what I want for you. So here's what you need to do. I want you to pick 1 or 2 songs, no more than that. And I want you to keep the songs to be the same songs, meaning I don't want you to keep changing the songs because, again, we are training your nervous system that when it hears this particular song or these particular 2 songs, your body knows exactly what to do. Movement. This is the other key part. So it can be walking, it can be pacing, it can be dancing if you want. Before I recorded this podcast, I listened to some music and did some dancing out in the living room. You can do that. But if you happen to be at the office, maybe you want to walk up and down a few flights of stairs, pace in a hallway. If you are about to get on stage, this is what I do. I will find like a service hallway and I will pace back and forth. Movement tells your nervous system that you're not stuck and that you're not trapped, but that you are in control. And then the mental rehearsal. While the music is playing and you're moving, you want to be mentally rehearsing how you're going to show up. It's not about perfection. It's about being fully present. So this is all going to help you get into your body, out of your mind, so that you stop thinking about what are other people thinking? What if something goes wrong? You are rehearsing confidence. And this becomes something that you can have on demand no matter what the situation is. So I want to share with you a client of mine, and she had this job interview, and she got there really early. And she didn't want to check into the office like 2 hours early. So she called me and said, "What do I do? It's raining out. It's not like I can go walking right now outside." And I said, "Well, look around you. What do you see?" And she found a grocery store. I said, "Fantastic. Put your headphones on, listen to your music, walk up and down the aisles. Don't worry about what other people are thinking or if they notice you. She's back in aisle 6 again. Don't even worry about that." I said, "And rehearse the stories you are going to tell them." And that's what she did until it was time to check in a little bit early for her interview. And she nailed the interview and she got the job offer. And just the other day, I was sharing this with another client of mine who just hired me. And same thing. He's got a job interview in a few days. And I said, "I want you to start doing this once or twice a day, bare minimum once." I said, "We need to train your nervous system quickly so that on Friday, 15 minutes before that job interview, you listen to the music, you do the movement and the mental rehearsal so that you are in your peak performance. You show up for that interview the best version of yourself." That is the whole point of this. Okay, so you do have homework, and I want you to go and think of those. What are 1 or 2 songs? Go make a playlist over on Spotify or whatever music app you use. Like, put those 2 songs together. And I want you to start practicing this daily. Listen to the songs, movement, and mentally rehearse something. You might be saying to me, like, "I don't have a job interview. I don't have a speaking event that's coming up." So think of something else that you want to mentally rehearse. Maybe you want to write a book. So see yourself writing the book. See yourself holding the book because it's completed. Maybe there is a promotion that you want. See yourself in that office. Visualize the new title that you'll be taking on. And there it is on the door, right next to your name. And I would love it if you would do this for 5 to 7 days straight, at least once a day. It doesn't take that long. We're talking about 5 to 6 minutes worth of activity. Find some place that you can move around without being disturbed. And I want you to do this to train your nervous system so that when you do need it, it's already trained. Your nervous system already knows what to do when it hears that song. So here's the bonus for you. When you do this, confidence stops being unpredictable because you have it on demand. You can stop relying on willpower and start relying on something that is actually going to work, which is you and your nervous system. And if you want help applying this performance state protocol, not just for speaking, but for sales calls, for interviews, for that leadership moment, I'd love to talk with you. You can book a call with me. That link will be down below, and we will look at where you're speaking right now, how you're showing up, and what needs to shift so that confidence becomes something that you can access on demand. And until next week, I want you to be in demand.